children of all ages, the internet wrestling community proudly brings to you the Closed Fist.
Woo!
Hey now. I'm Russ. That is Joey. That is Will. Sticking around for another while here is Derek the Nightmare Jazz.
Gotta get a little bit more emoji. The Nightmare.
I'm sorry. The Nightmare.
There it is.
All right,
Can we get like Paul Heyman for that?
Oh.
The Nightmare.
I need a Paul Heyman. Officially, I need a Paul Heyman.
That sounded like the River Bottom Nightmare.
Yeah,
man.
I'm sorry.
That was just totally.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's an early Saturday morning.
Reference.
I'm sorry. Early Saturday.
Oh my goodness. Talking pro wrestling for the next while here anyway. John, you're a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, my whole life.
You're
Half of my friends think I'm a huge nerd, and the other half don't, and I really don't care what they think. So fuck.
Yes.
Welcome to the dungeon known as the House of Bacon here at the Strands of Music Lounge.
It's Penguin Emporium too, isn't it?
It's the Penguin Emporium.
Penguin Emporium. Oh my goodness. Starting to talk about the Great Balls of Fire, or as I like to call it, the small balls in the freezer. That was just
Wombats running wild.
Wombats running wild. Oh my God. Okay.
What you gonna do, brother, when the wombats run wild over you?
I mean, what do these dudes do? Do they sit around? Like, what drugs are they on? And they went, Great Balls of Fire is a great idea. What a name.
You know what? I think they're set up with people that, you know how people surround themselves with people that won't disagree with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, great idea.
Yes, Vince. Yes, Vince. Yes, Vince.
It's a bunch of glad-handing yes men is what it is.
Oh my goodness.
No.
So,
Bret Hart.
They agree.
Bret Hart and Hawk.
tell him, Hawk. Well.
But it's
What a rush.
My God.
I mean,
Playing with my toys.
Who?
Just leave it.
I want names.
Down.
I want addresses. I want to know who came up with the idea for the name of Great Balls of Fire.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Or Jerry Jarrett.
There is an interesting story behind that. Jerry Lee Lewis did not know that the WWE was using his song.
Lawsuit. Oh, sorry.
They almost had to change everything.
They should have. It was awful.
But of course,
Would have been the best idea they had in a long time.
They could have called it Great Bag
exactly.
of Dicks, and it still would have sucked.
Well, that was the promo art for it.
That's right.
Every time I saw it on screen, I shook my head and went,
yeah. But they came to an agreement. Of course.
Always.
Of course. But going through the card, it was.
Is Jerry Lee Lewis going to be a Hall of Famer now? Is that the deal
I
they
think
made?
so. I think so.
He's gonna
officially this year's celebrity induction.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jinder McNipples is going to induct him.
Junior McPimples.
Nipples, pimples.
See, I would have thought it would be Jeff.
The Royd Haraja, whatever you want to call him.
Goodness. I mean, you work in a gym. I mean, you're a trainer. You are. I have to ask you. You saw Jinder Mahal a few years ago.
Yeah.
3MB days.
Yeah.
Now, you've been around this kind of stuff for a while.
You don't gain that kind of mass that quick. I want to know what he's eating, if it's all just clean eating, because I don't know, man. I don't
think you could eat that clean.
No.
You'd have to eat bleach.
He's come out and said that he has not had. It does sound kind of good. If he said that he's come out.
Colon cleanse.
Colin Clance, I'm a clean man.
Shots of Drano all around.
And a melt. Okay. And now, if he's come out and said that he hasn't had a cheat day in 2 or 3 years.
Psychologically speaking, it's one of the worst things you could do for yourself.
Right.
Like, you're not going to tell me that through all the travel, all the work, everything else, that dude hasn't looked and gone like, Jimmy Chonga sounds good right now.
You know what it is? He hasn't been to the transit yet.
Yeah. There it is.
Pint of bacon.
Pint of bacon.
Big old pint of bacon.
Transit logs.
Barbecued bacon. Chicken. Transit logs.
True story.
Mm-hmm. But
yeah, you don't add that kind of mass that quick naturally. It's not. You can't work hard enough to put that kind of size on as fast as he did. You know, you look at the guys who've made those fantastic transformations, and we've been talking about The Rock a little bit. You know, you look at what came out when he was Rocky Maivia in that goofy cape flying squirrel thing he came out in the first time he hit the ring.
That headdress
to what he
was
looks
awesome.
like now. It's a 15 to 20 year transformation. You know, that's a guy that you would see him gain a little size and then cut and gain a little size and cut. And every time it always seemed to roll with WrestleMania. You know, you'd see him post WrestleMania start to bulk a little bit, lose a little bit of the definition, lose a little bit of that washboard stomach, and then he'd come back for WrestleMania or come to WrestleMania, and you'd be like, where did this come from? But that's how it's done. You know, you build, then you cut, you build, then you cut, then you build, then you cut, and that's 15 years of doing that and doing it the right way. Not, oh, I was the shittiest member of 3MB, and then, oh, look, now I'm the WWE champion with biceps and nipples the size of Mount Rushmore.
I'm waiting for a backdrop and just be covered in pus on the mat.
Very possible.
He's just full of zits.
Gender McPimples, as I had. Yes, he's.
Somebody needs to give him a proactive commercial immediately.
Tough act. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
But why? But here's the thing. Don't you think that certain people within the WWE organization, don't they have to know?
So that part of the wellness program?
It's probably, they have a wellness program. They've suspended. Even Roman Reigns has been suspended.
Wasn't that marijuana though?
It was a while ago.
No, I said marijuana.
Marijuana, but
Because that's a performance-enhancing drug?
they have.
Just saying, whatever wellness policies are.
Listen, the only way that enhances your performance is if you say, hey, you win, you get a Snickers.
You know.
I mean,
Sorry.
But they have a wellness policy. Somebody within whoever governs
But
that.
is it, like you said, with, you know, we were talking about this before, where he could, you know, if there is a possibility, is the wellness, do they test randomly? Is it every 3 months? Is it every 6 months, so that you know the factor? How long has he been going for now? About six? They've been doing this push about 6 months. Roundabout. You know, roundabout 6 months. I've been calling Night of Champions. It was when I personally think he'll lose it. He'll get it through till September, and then he's gone. You know, so the wellness policy, is it
Are
there?
they turning the blind eye just because of the India?
But with the India thing,
Right.
that's the September push. But what I'm saying is, then once that's done, is he gone?
He'll get buried.
He'll get exactly. He'll get buried, and then they'll go, "Oh, you didn't pass our wellness policy." Or whatever.
And then he shows up.
That's why
on New
I don't
Japan.
know.
I mean, but that makes no. I mean, as far as like business-wise, what they're trying to do business-wise.
That's why I don't.
Expansion into India, whatever. They want to take one of their own, even though he was born in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, right.
One of
how booted, eh?
Very nice, but you know, it makes. I mean, with all of the past problems that they had with the steroids, with you know, allegations and whatnot. Vince almost lost everything, as we were talking before we started the show here. Why would they? I mean, and fans know. We know, especially people like you. You got to be looking at them like, dude, really? But it's like, you know, we know. And then all of a sudden he's going to lose a belt and then he's going to be gone. I mean, what kind of sense does that make?
Oh, but that's why.
Use them, chew them up, and spit them out.
Is he on it? That's the question. It's the question in the room. You know what I mean? Is he on this? You know. So.
Or
anyway,
is it one of those things that he's on something that doesn't violate the wellness policy?
That's my lack of knowledge right there. I don't know. So
Yeah.
there are things you can use.
You know, it goes back, like if you want to talk like steroid scandals and stuff, it goes back to like when the MLB went through theirs, and Mark McGuire was using Andro. Andro wasn't banned; it wasn't an illegal substance, but it is technically a performance-enhancing drug that is technically a steroid. He never tested positive for anything that wasn't, and then as soon as that was added to the banned substance list, he stopped using it and actually shortened his career by 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Because his knees ended up falling apart and everything else. And so is it a new thing that, you know, something that new that they synthesized to, you know, make it
It's just a lot of curry.
Passable.
right? That it's something that nobody knows about, or like they're not testing for it because they don't know to test for it yet. Is it one of those? I mean, what do we, you know, could be talking about anything here?
Yeah, true.
You know, or is it something that just shows up like, oh, he's got extra, you know, fatty cells in his piss. If he, you know, he's not pissing hot. It's just, oh, it's from all this, you know, it's from all the quinoa I'm eating. It's just, you know, it's a fatty.
It's all that curry.
Oh, all the clean eating. Look at that.
All of that
Bang.
cleaning.
We all
See,
fall
they
out.
don't like it
Who's
either.
still up?
Yeah, animal.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean,
Told you not to look at me when I'm playing with my toys.
you know, well, the steroids took him down. But
They were all on them.
But it's just interesting to me how they have had so many problems in the past, and you can't tell me that Vince doesn't know, because he was charged years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Of giving them out. Almost lost everything, and there's a story out there that when he was going through his big trial, he had things set up where Jeff Jarrett's dad, Jerry Jarrett, was going to take over as the main booker. And then while Vince was
Away?
going to be in prison, Vince got off, and it never took hold or anything like that. But
he lost all the talent in the meantime.
man, but I mean, but when you look at talent coming up through the ranks,
Terrible.
and they see, oh well, if Jinder's getting a push doing whatever he's doing, then I have to do it, and then it goes down the line. I mean, are they setting themselves up for
Another fall.
another fall at some point?
I don't think they'll let it get that far again. I personally, you can't. I mean, you could be that dumb, but that's crazy.
I think a lot of people kind of see what Jinder is too.
Yeah.
Just that. Not a one-off champion, but basically a one-off champion. They're
I was
using
just
him.
gonna- yes, absolutely.
He's
a filler.
once he drops the belt, he's gonna be relegated to a mid-card status at best. Might make one flash here, one flash there at a title run, but they're not gonna look at him and say, "You're the guy."
What? No more Punjabi prison matches?
I know it was tough to see through all the bamboo and shit, but did you see that match? I'm pretty sure Khalid still thinks he's the champ.
I can't see that.
I mean, that dude's been walking around with the title belt the whole way, just acting like it's his. So somebody better tell Frankenstein to give it back.
He does look like Frankenstein.
It's awful.
It's that jaw.
And you know what? If they do keep him around, I'm okay with it as long as he doesn't wrestle. If he's just that, like, I'm going to stand at ringside and throw an overhand chop every now and again and help Jinder keep the title till whenever.
Or a really bad choke.
Yeah.
I want to see Hornswoggle come back and walk with him down to the ring. That was the most hysterical
He
thing.
might actually be still hidden up one of his pant legs. You'd never know.
True story.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they had that whole
The two of them
thing,
and Natalia.
and Natalia, I thought that was the most hysterical thing watching.
Was about a 3-on-B.
Not wrong.
Oh my goodness! Getting on to the small balls in the freezer pay-per-view. Yeah, it's always. I'm sorry, I can't do that now. Your thoughts on Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar?
Samoa.
I'm sorry.
Or just
Samoa.
Joe. One of the two you pick.
Yes.
The man's that. Hey, if the man can beat me, can beat up like a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be like, yeah, you can, and whatever you want. But yeah, Lesnar versus Joe, a whole lot of hype for pretty much nothing, I think.
Pretty much nothing. I think there was a payoff there. I think Joe looks strong. Joe looks strong coming out of it, even though he lost. When you lose and still look strong, I think it worked, and it can sustain something for where it is now. Even though I'm really tired of these 4 ways and 5 ways and all these other whatever way to Sunday, these matches they keep having because they don't know what to do with anybody else. But I think Joe looks strong. Specifically coming out of that match and losing, I think he looks strong.
I think they're finally using him for his potential. I think when he first came in, being Triple H's henchman was not Joe. I mean, we've watched him in TNA, we've watched him everywhere else, and he's a bad man. I'm not going to give him, I'm not going to take that away from him. And they just, once again, they waste the talent. They're finally picking him up and giving him something.
First guy to stand up to Brock. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. First guy to stand up to Brock.
Yeah.
That stood up to him and. So.
You may wind up going through this table if you interrupt the big man again. I'm just
Hey
saying.
man,
I'm just saying.
Pop up power bomb right through the table. Joey would be mad if we put me through this table.
I
Nothing.
did
I'd
not
be
build
mad
this
if it-
table, so I'm okay with it.
I'd be mad. It's a nice looking table.
And this is me. Nothing to see here as you pick up it. Boom.
Hey, I got 50 on it.
You want to work the rest of the weekend?
I already am.
But what is your take on that whole thing?
I've been a fan of Joe for a long time, and I agree they're finally starting to use him to what he could actually be. My question is, who are you building to beat what you've made Brock Lesnar? I mean, and don't get me wrong, he's legitimately probably the baddest guy you have, and he needs to be that. But who are you building to beat that now? And
The
who's gonna
Golden
beat
Boy,
them?
Roman Reigns.
I mean,
But here's the
I mean,
problem.
but you've already had Roman get tossed around a few times by people. You've already had Brock toss him around. You've already
But he's
had
the golden
Braun
boy.
throw him around. And, I like the side of him that we saw in the ambulance match that, he lost, but then he came out and laid a beat down on Braun. But who are you building to beat Brock?
Braun Strowman.
My problem.
Braun Strowman.
My problem with the whole match was, you're right. Joe came out strong.
And the other end came out strong.
But the problem is 6 minutes.
Lesnar can't go anymore like
But,
that.
but
When was the last time Lesnar had a match longer than 10 minutes?
But
SummerSlam last year.
this
There you go.
is the problem that they have. They have part-timers.
I hate part-time champions.
They
Not
have,
even part-time champs. He's not even on Raw unless it's the week before the pay-per-view.
but
it's not even
here's the thing.
part-time.
But here's the thing, and like you said, he's
Minimal.
minimal showings, which is okay for a little bit. It's okay for a little bit.
My issue is he doesn't need the belt. Like, he's a draw. With or without that belt, he is a draw. What he's doing, who he's going after, what he decides to do. If you had him as like a headhunter, like where I'm literally going to come in and I think, you know what, you want to build people, that's the guy to do it through. You have him look and say, okay, I think Braun Strowman has shown enough that he could be a challenge to me, so I'm going to come out and take him out before he takes my spot as the top dog. Because he doesn't need the belt, because the belt doesn't mean you're top dog anymore.
Right.
They've relegated so many of these titles to garbage that they don't matter anymore.
Well, yeah, it was the Intercontinental or the U.S. champions, now the heavyweight champion all of a sudden, because the belt's not there. It's terrible. How do you not have a champion on your show?
I think the part of the so many problems along with this, but looking at Brock wrestling 10 years ago is not the same guy.
No.
As an athlete, as a wrestler, you change as you go along.
Right.
Okay. But from what you see of Brock 10 years ago and what you see now, he just doesn't care.
I mean, look at the match, him and Angle, when he damn near killed himself attempting a shooting star, versus his best match now, the best match he's put on since he came back.
Has
They're
he had
not
one?
even
Yeah.
like pick the one that you said he looked the best here, and put those two side by side. He's
Here's the thing. What's his contract? I mean, he tends to lose the belt, go away for a month or two, come back, win the belt, goes off and on the show for a couple months, and then loses the belt again, comes back, wins the belt. Like, he's just not is that his contract to every time he's on the show to have a belt?
I'm glad you brought up contract. I'm glad you brought up contract because there is. I don't know if it's even a rumor anymore.
No,
It's pretty
gone.
much a done deal
Yeah.
that
Basically after
he's
SummerSlam.
gone after SummerSlam because he's going back to
the UFC.
the UFC. UFC is always a playing card for him.
Yeah.
He's used it to. Hey, you know what? Good for him that he's used it to his advantage.
It's gotten to a point where he can do that because he can say what he's doing by playing the two with and against each other is every time he jumps, he gets paid more.
Right.
Yep.
here's the
Vince,
thing, too.
you want me back?
Yep.
Beat the money I just made on that last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Isn't UFC supposed to be doing something with the WWE very soon?
Well, I don't know if they were doing something with him, but they're strange bedfellows, as they say. They're in cahoots. And Dana White and Vince McMahon. There's business dealings there because look at their merchandising, the tap out stuff.
Yep.
Whose was that? It's all mixed together.
Yeah.
So now it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that at SummerSlam he's dropping a belt.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be a four-way match between Lesnar, Strowman, Reigns, and Samoa.
Samoa. Samoa, just Joe.
This now
Just Samoa Joe?
it's just Samoa. Whatever he wants to call himself. Where does a 400-pound gorilla sit?
Wherever he wants.
Wherever he wants.
Yeah.
Ask Josh.
Okay.
I'm going to go sit over there.
Again, nothing to see here if one of these two goes to the table.
Wasn't me this time.
I'll put up a little bit of a fight. I mean,
Nothing to see here. Now,
There's a lot to see here.
I was thinking about I'm almost like Spike Dudley or something. Oh man, I'd be screwed, dude.
I'll be Hornswoggle. I'll just.
I mean, we do have our little transit Wyatt family over here going on.
I'm a little beard light. See, that's another reason why we had to have Jazz on the show to bring the beard ratio back up.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange how it goes from very little to the goatee to the homeless to whatever the F this is.
Oh yeah, Macho Man Radio. But this,
It's progression.
the SummerSlam pay-per-view, seems to be a turning point to me. I don't know about a turning point, but it's going to be a big night.
Oh, it's gonna be a big one.
It's going to be a
Followed
big
by a
night.
shakeout.
We'll get to the. But now you're looking at, okay, you have those 4 guys. We already know Brock is done. Why does he even show up at all? Because you know it's going to be German suplex. Oh, he's going outside of the ring. I'm going to shove you into the pole, into the barricade.
He's got like 7 moves. We all know this.
I mean, and that's the thing too, is what's it going to be? They're going to find a way for him to hit somebody with an F5. Somebody like what? Joe goes to choke him out, and then Reigns pins.
Stop giving him stupid ideas.
But
Isn't that what happened?
Or that's exactly how this always works.
Yeah, I know.
Somehow Brock is going to get taken out of the match in a cheap way. So he's still the mythical beast, and somebody else walks away with the title without Brock getting pinned.
Now here's the question. Now, who gets the title? Because whoever
Give it to Braun.
gets the title at SummerSlam, you have to figure that's your champion at WrestleMania. Maybe.
It's a lot of months between
Yeah, we
now
got
and
a
then.
long way to go.
And a lot of crappy lead.
And God knows how many times
You
John
have
Cena's
two
going to switch
biggest
back and
as
forth.
well between that time. You have Royal Rumble and Survivor Series.
But the reason why I say WrestleMania is because we've had how long has Brock been champion? About 4 or 5
long?
months.
Yeah.
Too long, yeah, definitely. But about 4 or 5 months. I want to throw that number out there.
WrestleMania, right?
I think so,
Yeah, so around
5 months.
around that time. And he's been on TV very, very little. He hasn't done much on TV. He hasn't
missed
done much
pay-per-views.
at all. He's missed a couple pay-per-views. They had to have a SmackDown main event as a Raw.
Because of that
SmackDown guys.
horrible shakeup.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's been so bad because wasn't there a point where somebody caught him on camera accidentally saying like, "I'm still the champion"?
Yes,
Because he didn't know.
Exactly. They need to build up a guy with the belt. Now, normally, when somebody has the belt, they're already like a well-known guy, like Cena. He doesn't need the belt.
But what about Jinder Mahal?
But they get McPimples. But he doesn't.
Who's
need,
some other obscure guy that they could just bring it out of nowhere to take the title off somebody? Just some weird random guy like.
Is the Brooklyn
Give it to
Brawlers-
The Brooklyn Brawler?
still alive?
Yes.
Do it.
Dress somebody up as Doink and let him win. I don't give a fuck. Just get it on somebody who's going to be on screen.
But that's the point. I mean, now the title's been devalued to the point of they can't just give it to somebody at WrestleMania and then give it up again to somebody else 2 months later. I mean, just coming out and saying that, they have to rebuild that title up again. And whomever gets the title at SummerSlam, whether it be Braun, Reigns, or Samoa Joe, out of those 3 guys, who could you build the title up with?
Big Braun, one hell of a monster. I'm sick of Roman Reigns. I think he's had more chances than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you say, he doesn't need it though. He doesn't need the title. I mean,
I would like to see them put it on Joe personally.
Yes.
Like, I mean, my only issue with building it, like making Braun one hell of a monster, is then you run into the issue of who believably can beat him. And you look at some of these smaller guys that are in the picture. Like, how do you justify a Finn Balor beating Braun Strowman?
We were just discussing that.
You let Bray bring him back into the family and drop it off to him.
That's
la
my,
Randy
like, I would like to
Ray
see
Wyatt,
it.
huh?
That's my boy.
I would like to see it go to Joe because you can put believable matches on Finn Balor versus Joe. You can put Finn versus or Joe versus other guys. And they don't have to be monsters to make it believable.
True.
But who's the only person you're really seeing take it from Braun then is going to be another Roman Reigns push.
And I also think
Which he's the golden boy, though.
Personally, Joe would respect the title, even though I know we said belts don't matter anymore. I think Joe would bring a respect to it as well. He would respect the title and bring a respect to it, where he would carry it as a champion, not just, I don't care about this thing like Brock does, whatever, I'll be wherever I need to be. I think he would be a good champion. I think he would carry himself that way. He would, I just think it would work, personally.
The biggest mistake they can make is whomever they give the belt to is making them a transitional champion.
That's where,
see,
yeah.
That's my fear of giving it to Joe.
Yeah.
Because Joe, to me, and I hate to see it because I've been a fan of his for a long time. And I would hate to see him be a transitional champion. Not because he couldn't handle being champion. That has nothing to do with it. They've devalued this thing so badly. By giving him the belt, does Vince and the Wombats see him as a guy they can rebuild the title up to where it was? And
I don't know if Vince does. I think Triple H does. I think Triple H looks at it and goes, that should be the guy. That should be the guy that builds that title, that brings it back to that prestige. But I mean, but for how long though? I mean, look what Cena did for the U.S. title. He actually brought some prestige to it by defending it every single day.
Yeah, he did.
And then they, whatever, just pass it back and forth to between two or three guys and play hot potato with it. Make it a TV championship. Right. Make whoever holds it be able to travel between the brands and defend it every time he's on TV. If you're going to do that with it.
Side note on that U.S. championship, I do like the fact that SmackDown, it's not every pay-per-view that it's getting changed. Now it's getting changed in house shows. It's getting changed on SmackDown. That's something that needs to happen on Raw too. That just to make it be able to change hands a little bit.
Show up to Raw first.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
it's something that would work out. That makes you want to watch. Hey, there's a chance they might drop the title instead of pay-per-view.
That's what made it good back. When the Monday Night Wars was going on, it was the chance of literally anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see Hulk Hogan do this to Kevin Nash and take the pin.
Worst.
The lead out.
Sorry.
Was it really the worst, or was that David Arquette?
Oh, valid point. Okay. Good call. Good call.
Wow. Wow. David Arquette just made the show.
Right.
But it's a big night though. I mean, and like you just said, is this turning into, I'll take it a step further. Is this turning into Triple H versus Vince now?
It almost has to.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Because now because Roman is kind of like in the middle. You have two extremes. You have Braun Strowman and you have Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is Triple H's guy. Braun Strowman, we all know, is Vince's guy. If you put Braun Strowman in as champion, like you just said, okay, who's going to beat him?
Well, you do one of those stupid stipulation matches, and he loses it that way. As long as it's not another House of Horrors match.
But
do one of the
great match.
Do one of the
Horrible.
Oh, it's your boy.
What is it, like last man standing match or something where you got to answer a standing 10 count and like Cena did, what was it, Umaga or something, tied him up in the ropes?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand up because I physically am incapable of doing so because I'm duct taped to a ring post. Cool, man. That's a great way to change your titles over.
But it's something. But it's stupid things like that. I mean, how many times have we seen somebody getting tied up in the ropes, or AJ getting caught in the TV cord on the announce table and couldn't make his way back into the ring, and Owens wins via count out. I sat there and I'm like, and it was a good match. Yeah. It really was, and I'm like, I feel so bad for the suckers that paid like a couple $100 to be in there.
Why though? Why do you devalue great matches? I mean, they're literally getting to the point where what WCW did at the end. Every match had interference. Every match had a run-in. Every match had a referee get knocked out, and then somebody else who may have been on someone else's payroll running in to make the 3 count. Why?
Yep.
Why can't they just have clean finishes more often than not? You know what? You want your run-ins. You want what? Hit me with somebody hitting a schoolboy out of nowhere for a win.
Yeah.
Why do you need 7 RKOs to beat people?
Yes.
Because you're Randy Orton.
Yes, thank you. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm good.
He's been validated.
Yeah, thank you, Jazz. I appreciate that.
Anytime, man.
But it's like, because you know what? I mean, it's all about, and we've had this argument. I mean, I think we've had this argument on Facebook a few times.
Yeah.
The story versus the performance.
But I don't think there is a story without the performance. You can tell me the greatest story on the planet. Without a performance, it sucks.
Here's the problem, though. That's us. They're trying to sell it to little children. Little children want the story over the performance.
Yeah. I still think back to like me being a kid, and I didn't care why or who the Undertaker was, but watching him walk the top rope,
Oh, old school all day.
and like any of the things that they did, watching him throw Mankind off the cage, watching, Stone Cold come in and just clean house. The performance in the ring sold the story, even when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
We were
and the guys who are
we were
capable,
spoiled
they don't.
by that Attitude Era. That whole era, we were spoiled by. That was the golden age that we're never going to get back. I don't think.
They have guys that can do that now.
But they have writers stopping that.
Right.
I have a tear in my eye. We got to have a group hug after the show.